What happened in that Senate hearing room wasn't just another political exchange. It was the kind of moment that makes people stop scrolling and pay attention. The kind where power shifts visibly, where confidence crumbles in real time, and where the cameras capture something that can't be spun away. Kash Patel walked into that room like he owned it. Sharp suit, that signature smirk, the look of a man who's been through enough hearings to know how to play the game. He'd spent weeks preparing for this moment, probably rehearsing answers with his team, mapping out escape routes for every tough question. But no amount of preparation could have readied him for what was coming. Because Cory Booker wasn't there to play games. When Booker started speaking, the room changed. You could feel it. The energy shifted from routine oversight to something much deeper. Booker doesn't shout to make his point. He doesn't need to. He speaks with a weight that fills the space, with questions that land like stones in still water. And Patel, he felt every single one. It started simple enough, Booker pulling out quotes from Patel's own book, reading them aloud slowly so everyone could absorb the words. Questions about the so-called enemies list, about the promises Patel made during his confirmation hearing versus what he'd actually done since taking office, about the firings, the purges, the agents who'd spent decades serving their country, suddenly finding themselves out of work because of the cases they'd worked on. Watch the footage closely. You'll see the exact moment Patel's composure started cracking. It's in the eyes, that little dart to the left, looking for someone to step in. The way his hand moved to his collar, adjusting something that didn't need adjusting. Body language experts call it pacifying behavior. The rest of us call it what it is: panic. Booker pressed harder. He cited the lawsuit filed by 3 former FBI officials who accused Patel of carrying out a campaign of retribution. He pointed out that Patel himself had reportedly admitted the firings were likely illegal, but went ahead anyway because the White House demanded it. And then Booker asked the question that hung in the air like smoke. What authority do you have under the Constitution to do this? Patel's answer was telling, not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't say. He hid behind litigation, behind process, behind anything that might shield him from having to answer directly. That matters under litigation, he said. I'm not able to discuss it. But Booker wasn't buying it, and neither was anyone watching. The exchange escalated from there. Voices rose, temperatures climbed. At one point, Booker leaned forward and said something that would echo across social media for days. I am not afraid of you. Not angry, not aggressive, just firm.
He brought up Patel's
the
social
kind of
media,
statement that
the
lands
posts
because
that
it's
tear
true.
this country apart.
Patel tried to fight
the
back.
rhetoric
He
that
called
inflames
Booker's questions
rather than
a rant of
informs.
false information.
And then he delivered what
accused
felt
the
like
senator
the final
of dividing
blow.
the country.
I think
but
you're
here's
not
the
going
thing
to be
about
around
watching
long.
a hearing like
I
this.
think this might
You
be
can
your
hear
last
the words,
oversight
but you
hearing,
can also
because
see the
as
truth.
much as you
And the
supplicate
truth
yourself
was
to the
written
will
all
of Donald
over
Trump
Patel's face.
and not the
He was
Constitution
sweating,
of the United
not
States of
metaphorically,
America,
actually
Donald Trump
sweating.
has shown us
Little
in his
beads
first
forming
term
on his
and in this
forehead that he
term,
kept
he is
dabbing
not
away.
loyal to
His
people
voice,
like you.
usually so controlled,
That line
wavered
landed
at the
hard.
edges. He
Because
started
it spoke
interrupting,
to something
talking
everyone in
over
that
Booker,
room
trying to
understood:
regain
the
control of a
precarious nature
situation
of
that had
power
clearly
when it's
slipped
borrowed
beyond his
rather
grasp.
than earned.
But Booker
Patel
wasn't
owes
done.
his position to one person, and that person's loyalty has a well-documented expiration date. Patel tried to recover. He raised his voice, insisting, "It's my time," as if procedural rules could rescue him from the damage already done. Booker shot back, "You don't tell me my time is over." And for a moment they were both talking over each other, the decorum of the Senate hearing room dissolving into something much messier. When it was over, when Booker's time finally expired and the next senator took over, Patel sat back in his chair. And if you watched closely, you could see it: the exhale, the slight deflation, the realization that whatever happened next in that hearing, the damage was already done. Because here's the thing about moments like this: they don't stay in the room, they leak out, they get clipped and shared and replayed. They become the thing people remember, no matter how many press releases or spin attempts follow. Within hours, the internet had made its judgment. Booker destroys Patel. Patel silent under pressure. Did the FBI director just lose the room? The clips spread across platforms, each view adding another layer to a narrative Patel couldn't control. And the substance of what Booker exposed? That stuck too. The admission buried in a federal lawsuit that the firings were likely illegal. The pattern of retaliation against agents who worked on cases involving Donald Trump. The diversion of FBI resources away from crimes against children toward immigration enforcement in ways that raised serious legal questions. Booker asked about that too. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement? Patel took offense to the premise, but he never really answered the question. That's the pattern with these exchanges, the deflection, the offense-taking, the performance of outrage designed to change the subject. But when someone like Booker keeps pressing, keeps pulling threads, eventually the fabric unravels. What made this hearing different wasn't just the substance, it was the visibility. The way Patel's panic wasn't hidden behind legal jargon or political spin. It was right there on his face, in his voice, in the sweat on his brow. And in an age where everyone's a body language expert, where every clip gets analyzed frame by frame, that visibility matters. The irony is that Patel probably thought he was prepared. He'd been through confirmation hearings. He'd faced tough questions before. But there's a difference between being questioned and being seen, between answering and being seen. And on that day, in that room, Kash Patel was seen. Not as the reformer he claims to be, not as the patriot his supporters believe in, but something else entirely. A man who got a job he wasn't quite ready for, who made promises he couldn't keep, who thought loyalty to one person could substitute for legitimacy with everyone else. Booker didn't just ask questions, he built a case, document by document, quote by quote, exchange by exchange. And when he was done, the picture was unmistakable. What happens next? That's harder to predict. Political fortunes rise and fall in Washington with a speed that can make your head spin. Today's villain is tomorrow's commentator. Today's hero is tomorrow's footnote. But some moments linger. Some exchanges become reference points, moments people point to when they want to understand how power works and how it fails. This was one of those moments. The hearing continued after Booker finished. Other senators took their turns. Other questions were asked and answered. But the energy had shifted. The room felt different. And Patel, for all his attempts to recover, never quite got his footing back. By the time it was over, the headlines were already writing themselves. The clips were already spreading. The narrative was already set. And Kash Patel, the man who came in looking like he owned the place, walked out looking like someone who just realized the place might not be his for much longer. That's the thing about power. It's never as secure as it looks, and the people who wield it are never as confident as they seem. Put them in the right room, ask the right questions, keep pushing when they try to deflect, and eventually you see what's really there. On that day, Cory Booker did exactly that, and Kash Patel, for all his preparation and posturing, had nowhere left to hide. The cameras caught it all, the sweat, the stutter, the silence when words failed, and now the rest of us get to watch and rewatch and decide for ourselves what it means.